perfect place to place an ad if you have one.
Yeah.
Skip in 30 seconds.
Yep. Okay, so we should be we're live now, so I'm running our 27 seconds, so we could still talk over this, but this is just showing people that we're going to be on here in about 20 seconds, and then from there we're rolling our intro. So is
that a new shirt, Pop?
No, I've had this. I don't get to wear my nice shirts very often because I ruin everything.
I get you.
All right, so we're cueing the intro. Here comes our graphics. Bam. I'm going to play the Do It Live. Here we go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
And we're live, Jeff.
And that is a beast of a coffee mug, Pablo. I just wanted to start to show off and it says beast. Your fingers are cut.
It does, yeah.
Buddy, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to Saturday morning here on OCRC, the podcast, the live edition on RC Amigos YouTube channel. If you're joining us live, you're a brave soul because it's early bells everywhere. Mm-hmm. And if you're not and you're watching this after the fact, thanks for joining us. Guys, I wore a bright yellow shirt because Cody was saying there's no sunshine yet where you guys are. So thought I'd wake you up a bit.
There you go.
What's going on, Cody?
It's all good, man. Appropriate. We're talking about monster trucks on Saturday morning, just like the old days. So
there you go.
Boom.
There you go.
You know, this is great. Man. I'm glad to be on for part 2.
Hey, buddy, well, hopefully I don't have to put on the Superman cape and run away today. I know Pablo was just fine without me. Pablo, what's going on with you, buddy? This coffee sip number 2.
Oh, no, this is just coffee number 1, man. So, you know me, I'm always up. So I was like, I woke up early. So the nice thing that happened this morning, for some reason, the last couple of weeks, I haven't been driving my old truck very much. I don't know why, but
we're starting with some car stories today. I got one.
Yeah. So yesterday I charged up the battery and then fired it up, and it turned right over and drove home, and it was nice. The only thing that I feel bad about is that I know my neighbors say that it's cool all the time, but I know it's waking them up every time I start it up. Because it's like, because as soon as I fired it up, it's just super loud, and like I immediately put it into neutral and let it roll out to the driveway or into the street.
Yeah.
And then bump it into reverse a little bit because it's a small block Chevy, but it has a huge cam in it, so it's like it's nice and loud. So I'm like all thumping around, awesome. And then I throw it into drive and just like limp it out of the neighborhood. You know?
Oh man,
that's an awesome trick, man. We all do that. Like I know I left for the track a few weekends ago early. And my son's room is at the front of the house, so I did the same thing. Neutral, got the foot out of the car, pushed it back a bit, and just got enough momentum onto the street. Man.
Sounds like normal car guy stuff, man. My car story is I had to put my project car on a flatbed the other day, driving home about 15 miles from the house, check engine light, and started shaking, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hobble this home, so I had to. For the first time, never had to call a flatbed, but I had to get one and make sure I didn't ruin it any further because I have no idea what's wrong with it. I have zero clue. So, I mean, it could be just a plug or a coil or something like that. But once again, got to get up underneath it and see what's up. Project cars are the best,
Oh, yeah.
How long you had that, Cody?
A couple years. And it's actually it's been really good. I haven't had to do much to it. It being a German car, I haven't really needed to do much to it. And now that I'm driving 50 miles a day on it, it's starting to yell at me.
Yep.
Like, nice. What are you doing? That's not why you got this. What are you
doing? we'll go around the horn on car stories before we get into RC. So my car story is a little less functional. So I've got an old Mitsubishi Outlander and all black, and so my sister is a crazy industrialist. She builds furniture out of reclaimed wood. Pablo, you'd appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah.
and she's into plastic. She's into plastic dip right now.
Oh,
So
dope.
she wants
Oh,
to
no.
trick. She wants to
That could be
trick
good
out
or
the.
bad.
She wants to trick out the Mitsubishi and plastic dip and do the logo and stuff. And so I had to sell it to my wife. My wife's like, no, it's gonna look like a gangster car. I don't want that in my
Oh,
driveway. I'm like,
no.
we're doing it. We're doing it. And if you don't like it, you can peel it off. So,
Yeah.
see how that goes.
I'm so mad about Plasti Dip. We could have used that so much in my Honda days.
Yeah.
When, everybody's decided to flat black their car,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
color change their car before wrap and Plasti Dip existed. We actually had to just commit and be like, we're painting it this color, red
Not
again,
black,
no matter.
yeah.
Not too proud of those days, but I actually ended up
Yeah.
learning how to paint for real. So that was, maybe a precursor into that whole world. But I've touched a lot of parts in the auto industry, and that was definitely one of my proudest moments. But you live and you learn, man. I don't do that no more.
Stay tuned, because my next live with you guys might be coming from the back of that truck if the wife doesn't like it. So, listen, man. Last time we had you on, buddy, we got into all you guys primarily got into all sorts of stuff, but we didn't get to talk a little bit about your history, how you got into this hobby, man. We all got some pretty crazy stories on that.
Yeah.
I just want to start from the beginning a little bit, man. So what's Cody's story, man? Is it always been a passion for monster trucks? What's your earliest memory of RC maybe?
Well, I think I covered a little bit last time, but
yeah,
it's from my car, my car addiction, and like we all have, right? We're all car
it's okay.
guys, so.
You're among a support group.
Yeah. So remember I mentioned all the TV shows from back in the day, and like I said, I've had a car in my hand since I was young, and I've just kind of gravitated towards that. I told you the story about my dad sitting me in front of NASCAR and all that, and so it was just I was doomed from the start. And so RCs have always been around. They've just always been around. And right before we were talking about right as you left about the wired RCs and all the toy RCs and stuff like that. So I think once you establish at a young age that you are a car guy, you're at Toys R Us getting Hot Wheels and Matchbox and Transformers, and you know what I mean? Anything, even like, you remember those old toys, that one cartoon, Mask?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Like stuff like that, man, just because it's cars.
Yeah.
So man, and so once you establish at a young age that you're a car guy, and the RC thing just kind of follows up. And I remember one thing that I definitely remember as far as like getting me really intrigued in RC was my neighbor. His grandpa worked at Lockheed. This is in California, Lockheed Martin, and so he got all the whatever. He had the Grasshopper. He bought I want to say not Big Bear. It was either Big Bear or Brute. Big Brute. Remember Big Brute, the yellow monster truck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He had those, and I always was, I went over his house. He's my neighbor, so I went over there to play, and so but then the other neighbor down the street, and this is I got like the Tyco Bandit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
remember all those. I remember all those 9.6 speed trucks. There was like 4 of them back in the day.
Oh yeah, they had a buggy. They had the hard body Nissan. They had I like the hard body Nissans. And my tinkering self, I'd go in there and try to add sway bars, and I like literally I've been a tinkerer forever. Lego. Thanks to Legos. Thank you, Legos.
Yeah.
But no. This kid down the street, like I said, did we lose Jeff?
I don't know. Hold on. Let's see.
There he is.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, boys.
Oh, there you go.
Keep going. I'm good.
I'm talking too long. Get my story's boring.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, they kids that have the lunchbox, and I think that's the first one you built, or is it Midnight Pumpkin?
Midnight Pumpkin.
Yeah. And it's
same chassis. Same chassis.
So that and the Blackfoot, and you see those are all around the neighborhood, and then this kid came through with the Fox. You guys remember the Fox?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about that car, but even though it was a buggy, so back in the day, everything was the mechanical speed controllers, with the arm the nickel metal high, or the NIMH battery. NIMS.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
I haven't
okay.
used those in so long. I forgot what they were. I was all about those till I started racing, and now I haven't even seen one. So, they look it's like a cassette.
Yeah.
You know what? I just want to back up a little bit. So when you mentioned mask, I had to Google it right again.
Oh yeah.
And so here's the quick synopsis. It's a special task force led by Matt Tracker, who operates a transforming armored vehicle in their ongoing battle against the criminal organization Venom, which stands for Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem.
Nice.
I wish I had a job today where I get to write this stuff, man. This is
I know,
for
right?
kids' toys, right?
Oh my ultimate dream, man.
Oh man, yeah, that was a fun. I love those. I don't know why. That and the Thundercats. That had nothing to do with cars. Thundercats.
It did. But so the Thundercats had like the tank, Panthros tank. I don't remember.
Yep.
It was sick, man. If they ever, and I'm sure it was the inspiration for something along the way. But
of course,
anyways.
Transformers,
GoBots.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. All these things ruined me. All these things ruined. I made all the car guys today, man, and I'm one of them. So.
But I think it's good, right? Like it's so wholesome, man. Like it's a lot of other stuff could have ruined us. Like it ruined us in a direction where we're doing something so productive, and
way to spin it, man. Way to spin it.
It's a ding on the pocketbook, but we're not sitting here talking about crack pipes. Like it's something really good, man.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, no, not one I want to get.
But no, with the Fox, though, the kid with the Fox, so with the technology back then, to see anything going any kind of speed was insane, right? So, and we're watching this guy. We come out and we're riding bikes and playing GI Joes. That was another one. They had all the nice vehicles, GI Joes, and all that, whatever. And he came out and he's chasing cars down. I mean, granted, the cars are only probably going 25 miles an hour, but that's technology back in the day. To see RC car going 20, 25 miles an hour is crazy.
He's running Destro
miles an hour.
Street,
but that's technology back in the day. To see. After that was my first look of a hobby grade, what they could actually do. And then you go through the whole gamut and the whole array of all the RC cars you get for Christmas every year until you finally get your first Traxxas.
I know all about that, buddy. So you may not know this story, Cody, but I had my first RC car outside of that Midnight Pumpkin was the Traxxas Cat, and it was a ready to run. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna send you a link to it. That's how popular. Your face is how popular it was. It's like everybody's like, "What is this thing?" But it was a ready to run tub chassis buggy. Absolute piece of garbage. But back then I was like, yo, check this out, right?
It's crazy because they were a racing team back. That's what I love about what people don't realize about Traxxas is the Rustler is their was their last is basically a slightly watered down to their last racing truck, which was the SRT.
Right.
It's the exact same transmission, the same arms, the same suspension geometry. The chassis is different. The shock towers are a little different. Body mounting is different, but basically it's the same truck. But they were a hardcore racing team back in the day, and I was so addicted to. I keep using that word. I was so I love car action, car action magazine and stuff.
Don't make me start playing some SWV over the top here.
I love it. We don't want that. We don't want to get YouTubed. You know what I'm saying? I would love that, but we don't want to get YouTubed. Jeff is pulling the Superman again. Maybe that's just my screen. I don't know.
No, I see. There he goes.
Back. I'm here. Sorry, boys.
No, you're good. You're good. So
I was still there. Was I still there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
You're good.
And then so you see I was following the off-road, in the magazines, and obviously the readers' rides, you see the cool stuff in the readers' rides, but it was mostly I was following the off-road, and our guy Jason Rona, J Concept, he was racing with them guys, and so it was like, man, I didn't even know. I just followed Brian Kinwald and some of the well-known guys, but I really liked that racing scene. Really got me into RC more to study about the trends and the ins and outs of RC and whatnot. But it was always monster trucks. USA One, when USA One came out, the Boss, Boss, the Kyosho Boss, and the Vet. I think the Vet was on the same chassis, but
it was, man.
Yeah.
You guys, my favorite. Let's get into this. And Paps, I want to know what your favorite monster truck. Mine is El Loco Toro, and it's a little bit of a newer one, but it's got the bull horns.
Oh yeah.
And they did the two chassis. One was yellow. It's a newer one. So I don't know if you've seen it, but
I think that's the up in Canada. That's the Toro Loco to us down here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's French. It's French, right?
I know.
It's all backwards. And I always thought it was a moose, not a bull. So.
Yeah.
That's funny. No.
Yeah.
But no, and then to go along with the old ones, Sledgehammer, Traxxas Sledgehammer.
Oh yeah.
And then my first, I think I said it in the first podcast, but we'll do it again. It's all good. I finally got a real, not a Traxxas, but a real RC car was Losi JRXT.
Oh, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah,
last time.
and I, that I'm a suspension nut, and seeing that 5-link on the back, and just following the racing scene in the car action, and just seeing that it was the only one of its kind,
Right.
It just, for a minute, I think it was a couple of years before RC10 and all that other stuff came out. But by then the LXT came out, which was my second real one,
Right.
And then that opened up the floodgates, because I ended up with about 9 rustlers and stampedes combined, and making scaled Dodge Rams, because where I used to live in Oregon, it was kind of woodsy and rural area, and everybody's in the trucks, and I love off-road, any type of off-road, Baja, crawling, monster trucks, obviously that's my favorite.
I think one day, and I want to ask Paps this question: what do you want to do when you think? So maybe the answer to this is I'll never be too old to do this, but I feel like when I'm done with racing or actually driving cars, I have a plan for RC. It's not to get out of it, but do you think you'll get to that point, Paps? Do you think? And if you do, what would you do?
It's funny because I was just thinking about that, and I was just like, I was driving in this morning, literally, and I was like, man, I'm thinking about like, how weird is it that I'm cruising in and it's there's a train again.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, how weird is it that I'm cruising in super early? I mean, it's not crazy early for me, but like super early to go and talk about RC cars, right? And I'm like, where's this? I know. I'm like, where's this gonna go, right? I don't know. I'm one of those like have fun kind of guys, and it's hard, man, because it's like I know they're always going to be around, and it's going to be a generational thing. So like when my kids are grown and they have kids of their own, there'll be RC cars, right? And there's going to be, and so I know it's going to be that kind of a thing, because I'm also a very, like, I have like ADHD of the hands, right? So I always have to be tinkering.
Yeah, and I'm the same way, man.
You know what I mean?
Same way.
And so I personally, I don't think I'm ever one of those guys that's going to retire. Like, I think I'm going to be one of those old, like, not to stereotype, but one of those like super old Mexican dudes, like bent over, like hunched over, working on whatever, and it, I could see,
but just in such a euphoric state.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Your mind would just be so sharp because you kept this up, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, and the thing is like, I could see always being in the automotive vein. I'm all about automotive styling and all that kind of stuff. So I could see kind of like moving out of what I do in the real world into that a little bit more. That's always what I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
But where RC would be with that, I don't know, man. It's a hard, because the thing is, technology is going to move, right? So 20 years from now,
if I can add something right there,
Yeah.
if we all look back over all these years, I mean, we're not that old, but you know, we've been around the block a couple times.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's only two things that's never changed. It's cereal and RCs. Look at the boxes, man. Kept the same as it was when we were
Lucky Charms is
the same. So I'm guessing it's gonna be one of them things that ain't really gonna change too much, you know?
Right.
The one thing I think for me, like on that, is I agree with you. I don't think I'll ever be void of this. I've always had blips in and out of it, but it's never gone away. Building on what you said, Cody, about the early low seas, right? I've always had this vision one day of like starting to collect those vintage rigs, and get them. And I guess it's just called shelf queening, but get them cleaned up and do my own West Coast customs type thing, but not to sell. Just get them blinged up and start displaying them. And just the history of that, I think as I get older, I might want to start to appreciate that, because to your point, Pabs, technology is not going to stop, man. Stuff's going to, in 5 years from now, we're going to look back at this video and go, we did nothing. Like, it just keeps changing, right?
I know, right? It's going to be crazy.
Well, you've seen Jason Rona doing that now. He's got a whole series on his favorite RCs, and he's going back in time. RC10.
Jason's a great guy.
Yeah. He's got the JRXT. That's one of his favorites. I mean, I'd love to talk to him one of these days. I mean, he's into a lot of the same stuff I'm into. So, but he was able to click it a little sooner and turn it into what we all dream. Making a living out of it. So, but actually, it's funny that you said that, because I ended up not too long ago, I ended up with a Blue Eagle LS. With the white plastic, Traxxas Blue Eagle LS, the very, very first
Wow,
drum.
man.
And I was going to do exactly what you're saying. And then these guys showed
What
up.
happened? And then what happened? Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, it was more of, I didn't want to run it. It's kind of like my project car right now. It's like, I didn't buy that with the intention to drive 50 miles a day on it. So it was more clean it up, make it, preserve it, but enjoy it.
I'm gonna post this picture to the podcast promotion. I'll share it with you guys later. But I'm Googling now because I got a computer in front of me. And I'm looking at the box of the Blue Eagle, and it literally has an eagle, like a beautiful eagle. I'm just gonna read some of the stuff from the box. CTPA World Truck Pulling Champion. All new transmission includes torque regulating, slipper clutch technology, man, and ball differential.
And you could access it from the outside of the transmission. There was a hole. There was a little hole in the top of the transmission. You can get to the ball diff. The Traxxas was they were doing their thing in the racing scene before they decided to go RTR.
That's fascinating. You say about accessing the differential through that hole, because all my low Cs now with ball diffs have that access point through the diff. So some things change, some things just don't. So
but no, with that Blue Eagle, man, I got it. It was pretty pristine. The guy that had it, that chassis was a composite chassis, and so he drilled different servo mounting holes, and so it had a bunch of holes drilled right there. So it was hard to it kind of was a thing where I could get it, but then if I actually tried to race it, it might snap because it was really weak right there.
So many holes, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, I got that. I had like 3, the Hawk 2. You guys remember the Hawk?
Ooh, yes, I remember that one.
I don't remember that one. Who was that by?
I do.
That's Traxxas, man.
Yep.
They had the Hawk and then the Hawk 2. I had one Hawk. And then I had a couple Hawk 2s. I don't know how I ended up with them. It's like gremlins, man. They just multiply.
You got them wet, man.
I just pulled them up on the screen here. So I got, on the live stream, we're looking at the Hawk. I remember, that's like the predecessor to the Sledgehammer, right? Looks like the same.
It was the buggy. It was like the stadium truck version of the Sledgehammer. That was like the two trucks at that time. It was the Sledgehammer and the Hawk.
Right.
was
right.
that like their main trucks. Before.
So what came first? Because I remember my truck that I had that was super dope, and I thought that was like one of the first stadium trucks, was the Fataba stadium truck. Do you remember that?
The
The
Futaba one.
Futaba Stadium.
I just pulled it up on the. Yeah, that was. I remember I saved forever for it, and I remember it was one of the first RTRs that, or it wasn't even an RTR. I thought it was just a kit. I just pulled it up on the live stream here, but it's like. It's the Futaba FXT Stadium Racer. It was dope, and I remember it was one of the first.
Yeah, look at that.
It was one of the first cars that had like gray wheels. All of them had like yellow or white or all that kind of stuff, and this one had the gray wheels on it, and they were dope.
I don't know if you're showing it, Pablo, but I'll.
Yeah, he's showing it on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I need my Flintstone technology as well.
I think I remember that car, but I think that came after.
Did it?
I wonder what year that was.
I don't know. It's really hard. There's so many RC cars that came out, and we were so young. Just imagine, like your daughter trying to keep up with, the SMT and the ground pounder when what came out, like you know what I mean? Like,
that's okay.
It looks
so
like
that's
2012 or so. Yeah.
That's the other one is the Stadium Blitzer, because I had that one too.
Blitzer.
Yep. That definitely came after. I think that whole stadium scene was later. Like everything was like remember the buggies with the single shock?
Everything was buggies.
Yeah,
everything was buggies with Losi and associated.
Right,
and then
Tamiya was
Tamiya.
Yep,
that's
the
right.
Frog, the Grasshopper, or Kyosho with the Optima, and
the Optima was just mint. Oh,
see, what was crazy for me is I totally skipped right over all of those, all of the buggies. I never had a buggy. I've always been trucks. So it's always been a truck thing for me.
Yep,
that's cool.
No, I got my
what's
first
cool
buggy.
is.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna
say, buddy.
I was just gonna say, I got my first buggy when I started racing indoor off-road, the B5M. That was my very, very first buggy ever. I never had one all these years, so I'm with you there, Pablo. I get it. It's all truck.
It's that Hakuna Matata circle of life, because with buggies starting in the 90s, right, in the early 90s, and stadium trucks, from what I remember hearing, and if you watch that Losi, the History of Losi series they have out right now, they talk about how stadium trucks came in because they were a little cheaper at the time. They were easier to tune and maintain, so it got more guys into the racing scene. But it's funny because, to your point, both you guys with the buggies, right? Like buggies right now they're not that popular at our level, right? It's interesting. Like a lot of guys I talk to, it's like, I'm not a big buggy guy.
Well, unless you're racing, like that's the thing. There's that big gap,
niche, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a big gap because a lot of people get into it. Yeah. I think that's one of the hard things about RC right now is that there's not really a good description between toy grade and hobby grade, right? Because back in the day, there was like no chance. There was like no. They didn't cross at all. Yeah. Well, because it was very apparent which was, something from Fred Meyer or whatever, and what was or Toys R Us.
You got the circuit board RC cars, and then you got the RC cars. That was the difference.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, today you go on Amazon though, and you can't tell from first blush, right? Like if you're new, you wouldn't know.
Right.
I remember now why I never had buggies. This is a crazy story. Actually, I lied. That was my second buggy. My first buggy, I got this one from Toys R Us. And Toys R Us sold Tamiya's in Toys R Us. I remember seeing like the Bruiser and like some of the buggies and some of the trucks they had them behind a glass in Toys R Us back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And
you had to go get that little card. Remember that?
Yeah, man. And it's right across from the Hot Wheel aisle.
Yeah.
Toys R Us. So, but I got this buggy, right? But it was right on the border. It was one of those that took like 8 hours to charge, but it still had a NIM battery. Yeah. But it wasn't like Tyco. You know what I mean?
Was
Yeah.
it
So
the
it was
was
like,
it the Nyko brand? Remember the Nyko?
I think it was. I think
Yeah.
it was a Nyko. Yeah.
So I
And,
just
They-
I just
because
pulled
it's a
one up
circuit
right
board
now.
one.
Yep, I just pulled one up now.
That's genius because it met that target in the middle, right?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe it was a yeah.
here's the problem. My first like kind of real, RC car, I call, quotations real, but we had a pool where we lived in LA. Everybody had a pool. But we had a fence around it. It's kind of like, I think it was code to have a fence around the pool.
Yeah.
And it was probably about a 6-inch gap underneath. And I don't know if you can tell where this is going.
Oh yeah.
Christmas Day, man, I get that thing charged up. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh man, and I couldn't wait for the battery to finish charging.
Yep.
I get that thing, I pull it out, first pull of the throttle, and it's like polished cement. Did spun out, went right into the fence, right in the shallow. It was done. Like,
so we have a similar story, but up here we get lots of snow, right? So I remember getting a Radio Shack special and running outside and wanting to see if it would go in the snow. Oh, it did. But then the next day when I picked it up, it did nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
And the rust in the battery compartment, and it was just done. You know.
That was one of the worst RC days of my life. And after that, I had about 5 Tyco 9.6 Vs. That because you could get those if you broke those are easy to get. So
That's funny. One of the ones that I had I remember my kind of horror story was it was after I was an adult, and it was kind of that little weird gap when you don't know, you're not getting toys and stuff like that. And I remember my parents bought me, like early 2000s where they had the the little helicopters that would the little easy charge helicopters and all that kind of stuff where you'd be able to fly it. And I remember I got one for my birthday because it's right next to Christmas, and all my boys from college would come over and hang out at my house. My wife, so we were married already, hang out at our house, and we would play and all that kind of stuff. Well, I got that little helicopter, and my buddy's like, "Oh, let me try it." So I had barely even opened it and flew it around. He flies it straight up, and we had an atomic ranch house at the time, so I had one of those like really tall column fireplaces, right? He flies it straight up.
I knew that's where this was going.
And I had the fireplace grate that went in front of it that had like a 4-inch gap. He went up and came straight down and shot the gap right into the fireplace. And I was like,
That's a good wheel man there.
I was like, I kind of looked over at him, and he's like, "Sorry, dude." And I'm like, "Oh,
oh, dude." So, but yeah, it's stories like that, man. And I think we all have them, and that's kind of what got me into this whole world of RC and just being able to not only just like I was really into model cars when I was young. I ruined every single one of them. I always got monster trucks. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to paint. I didn't know how to glue. I didn't understand any of that stuff. But it was still fun.
I'm sorry, Corey. I am going to interrupt because we're going to do our Reefs RC change in direction. And I'm going to give Pablo a second. You can tell me when I can start talking again.
You can start talking right now, man. It's already rolling.
This is the Reefs RC change in direction. No matter the line you're on, make your next crawl, bash, flight, boat, a great one, a straight one with a quality Reefs RC servo. Visit reefsrc.com today. And that was off the top of my head. That wasn't bad because usually I read that stuff. And it's funny that we're going to do a 180 here. And Corey, I know you're in the middle of and
it's Cody.
I'm sorry, man.
On the live,
and now we're doing another change in direction. We're actually get your name right.
It's all right, man.
You can call me James from Canada. How about that?
It's all good, man.
So, Cody, and we're going to do a change in direction. What I'm noticing is that it doesn't matter what we talk about with you right now. We're going to have you on again. We'll get into monster trucks when we get there, I guess. But Reefs, you guys saw the post.
Yes, I did.
I did see that, and I don't understand what's going on.
This is what I want to ask. So, Pabs, I'm going to ask you first because I have my opinions, but what do you think is going on there? Just your speculation.
Man, I don't know. I was trying to
Line
look
lock.
at. Yeah, oh, I don't know, man. That would be dope. Oh, that would be so dope. The problem
Line
with
lock.
line.
That's what I think. Because why
well,
not?
well, the problem with line lock, what would be really tough with that, like in the no prep thing, is that if you're trying to do it without touching your car is going to get all over the place and you're not going to have a patch, right? So it's like, nah. But that would be hella dope because I've always wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was looking at it close, and I don't know enough about the wheels and tire combo. And they had a set of wheels on there that I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen wheels like that before. And they were like
That's
a really.
what I thought. Yeah.
It was a
But
real
remember,
deep
he
dish.
said he's doing something that's never been done before in the
Right.
industry.
Well, the thing, I don't know if they were aluminum.
There's a couple things coming.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an aluminum wheel for the drags that was deep dish because that looked dope. And I was like, ooh, if that's it, that'd be cool. But then I was trying to scope super hard. So I'm going to pull it up on Instagram too. I was trying to scope super hard because I was looking at what the shock tower looked like in the window.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell what it was. I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is a DR10 chassis or,
is that a song? How much is that shock tower in the window?
I know, right?
I just dated myself, man. I'm an old man.
All right, so I just pulled it up in the picture, and I can't tell what it is, man, but it looks so dope. And like, I don't know.
Cody,
I'm gonna say line lock because why not? I used to if you remember my story last time, just waiting for monster trucks to come on. It was always drag racing or NASCAR or motocross or what is that show on NBC Sports where just off road. Now it's Lucas Oil, off road whatever.
Oh, right.
It was similar back in the day, and so I just. Waiting for monster trucks, watching all this stuff, but my favorite was drag racing, and because I didn't really care about the cars. It was more like the light and the competition and of cutting the light, and, seeing how quick they got on the reaction time. You know what I'm saying? Like in any of them, top fuel or stock or any of the categories, it didn't matter. I just like the whole light part of it was my favorite, and so I think it is since. RC drag is hot right now. I think it's line lock.
So I'm going to say RC drag is hot because of Pablo, because right now he's just on fire for RC drag. So that's my first point. And he's got me even peaked, and I know nothing about RC drag.
Well,
the second thing. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm trying to capitalize on this mania going on, and let's translate it into monster drags.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, for real.
2.0. So I think it could be something a little less literal. I think Sharif from Reef is pretty, and Pabs, we've talked to him, and I think that guy's a bit of a mad scientist. He's got some he's a good, deep, strategic thinker. I wonder if it's something underneath the body because it's a very literal shot. I wonder if we had talked about motors or something to that effect.
Yeah,
that's a stretch. but in my
something that's never been done before.
I don't know. Motors have been done, obviously, but who knows what's underneath, right?
Yeah.
Listen, boys, we're gonna wrap things up in about 10 minutes. We've been going for over an hour, just that. Like,
wow.
What's going on, right? So to wrap things up, I thought we could go around the horn and just kind of give some finishing thoughts around some. Let's do some prognostication. I almost said prognostination. In Canada, the words
that
are
Canada accent, man.
Prognostication. What do you think? We're coming to the end of 2020. Thank the baby Jesus to get my Talladega Nights quote in there. I prefer you, baby Jesus, when you were as a little baby. Shake and bake, Pops.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't forget to shake it before you bake it.
That just happened.
Oh yeah.
We got a new nickname. I'm
Here.
a magic man. Now you
hang on a second. I got it right here.
Say that 10,000 times, it still wouldn't be enough.
It fires me up, man.
I love it. Say it one more time.
Shake and bake!
Does that feel good?
Yeah, it rhymes.
All right, I just did the sound clip drop right there.
I could
So
hear that, but yeah, that's awesome, man. So let's prognosticate a bit and go around the horn. In less than a minute, I want to hear each of your thoughts for what we'll see in 2021 in RC that no one's expecting. I'm putting you on the spot. Let's give Cody the go ahead because he's our guest, man.
I'm gonna go back to my first point earlier. Not much changes in RC. And so I think we'll just see more of the same and just slightly better technology. That's what I think. But
all right,
I'm trying to add to the whole thing and make this stuff real crazy. Nice. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, again, that's why I'm on here. But I love talking RC, just period. And, you know, the monster truck thing is going to be there. It's been around for 40 years. And so, you know, hopefully, actually, what I would like to see, if I can do that, is a Red Cat possibly doing something different.
Oh, all right.
You know, a new ground pounder possibly, since they, you know, we got I watched conspiracy theories with Tony, and he was talking about that possibly a ground pounder too, out of a Wendigo, because they got the axle.
Hobbs,
so.
baby.
Yeah.
Hobbs, baby.
yeah.
So.
Cool,
yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Just more, better technology, more of the same. But just I want to get this monster truck thing cracking.
Hey man, you'll be the change. You'll be the change you want to see in the RC world, buddy. That's right. What I hear.
That's right.
Pablo, what's going through that giant brain of yours?
You know, I don't. In the RC world, I can't see a lot happening. I think there's going to be a lot of periphery stuff for the drag scene. I think there's going to be, like you were saying, Cody, I think people are going to come up with things like line locks and, you know, different scale stuff for the drag racing scene. I don't know what it would be, but I think there's a lot of that. I think Red Cat's going to probably come up with something. And I was talking to Cody about this offline. I think there's no question that it's probably going to be something along the lines of, well, I shouldn't say no question, but they already have a crawler. They have a basher now. They have a like a U4 truck kind of a thing. So the next thing that they could revamp would be a monster truck. So, you know, out of their whole kind of like everything that they got going on. So I could see that, you know, and who knows, well, the other thing they could do too, Reef said something about an RTR coming out, and he already had that. Axe edition. So what if it was a drag Red Cat, which would be
wow.
That was like super affordable, dude. I'd be all up in that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go off the board a bit. I'm going to kind of tie on to what you're saying, Pops. And I think my thoughts is more of a theme because of the kind of year we've had and the exposure people and the more time people have had for the hobby. My hope is that we're going to see a growth, like a blip that we maybe haven't seen in a decade or so in this hobby, because we all know it can suffer from time to time. And I think it's very niche, but I think people have had more time to look up and pay attention.
Are you going to say hovercrafts?
No, I think just more affordable entry level vehicles. Whether no matter what section people decide to get into. I think 2020 has opened the door for that for manufacturers, and I hope we see that from all of them, where they start to realize that the chances of someone coming right into hardcore racing, like typical racing on a track. It's hard to grab that many people. People may, if they can do the no prep, ready to run kit like that, it gets people entry into a competitive and social circle, or monster trucks, like you're saying, right, Cody? It's like, give them. I think we're gonna see. I hope we're gonna see just more bodies getting involved.
Yeah. So, I think so, and hopefully the manufacturing, you know, we can actually get stuff.
I want to do sorry, Cody. I was going to say I want to do a quick plug, because I think that there's going to be a little bit of this going on. So we're putting on, RC Amigos is putting on a virtual monster truck freestyle contest, And I think there's going to be a little bit of that happening. And which is,
Yeah.
I hope what we can do is pretty dope, because that might set the tone for the rest of the people. I mean, I'm kind of excited about it because I haven't seen anything like this before, right? I haven't seen a virtual comp like this before. I've seen, the picture contest on Instagram and all that kind of
Sure.
stuff. But to be
But
able to
this is
have
different. Yeah.
video and interactive, and we're going to do some live stuff with it, I think that's like a whole other a whole other point. And the point of entry is you got your phone, you got your RC car. That's all you need.
Yep.
That's
And
dope.
I really, what I like about that whole situation too is the accounts or the names that we got participating. There's a few that we missed out on because I don't think they knew about it, but we got some really good guys that have got some awesome Instagram pages participating.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not really a freestyle guy. I'm more the make them look cool and make them more racing. But hey, I could bash too. It's all good. We'll figure it out. But
burn it down.
Do like is, what I do like though is the guys that are participating, and hopefully if this is good, it goes good and smooth, and it's a fun thing for everybody. We can do it again. We'll get more participants, and we can just add this to the many things that we could do. Hopefully we can get together live and do things. Hopefully soon. In a couple weeks, but
yeah.
The virtual thing. I think that people getting used to being online and doing stuff like what we're doing now, doing the Zoom calls, doing the Skype calls, or doing however people get together. I think it'll make it easier to do this virtual stuff, and it's fun. I mean,
yeah,
so
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I think guys, if you're watching this, whether live or in the cast after, check it out. Pabs, you got information. You did an awesome slide post on Instagram that explains the rules to the contest, so people should definitely check that out. When is it happening again? Last week, October.
Okay, so so I already set the field, right? So
Yep.
I lost everyone's audio.
We're here.
I can't hear anyone's audio. Anyways, okay, so I already set the field, and it says field of 12. It's going to be going on. When's it going to be happening? It's going to be happening the last week of October, so the 25th through the 29th, I think it is when or the 25th through the 30th, whatever that week is. And we're going to be posting up every day. We're going to have these, what are they called? We're going to have the stories that we're going to be able to compete against. And so they're going to be kind of like a bracket system out there. So, it'll be pretty dope. I'm excited to see what'll happen with that and how all that'll work. So, yeah. I think we lost audio, boys. I don't know if you guys can hear on the YouTube side.
Else for you there. So I hope you have a great day. Good luck at the track, my man.
It's all good, man. Thanks, and we'll do a part 3 and actually talk about these things.
That's right.
All right.
All right, Pops.
All right, guys.
See you, boys.
Have a good one. Take it easy.
Take care, boys.
All right.
You too.
See
Take
ya.
care, boys.